And if you've been liking any of the content on here, just feel free to subscribe. Either way, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching.
Alright, and I have some notes here just so I'm not just rambling on just off of memory here. And so the tournament was at a store called Vortex in Sackville, New Brunswick here in Canada. It's the first really hobby shop I've really gone to that had GW stuff in it. And a great guy ran, I do believe his name was Chris. You know, he let people use armies there that were at the shop there if they didn't have armies themselves or didn't have all the units for their armies painted. It started at 9, went from 9 a.m. to 6:30 at night. I think 8 o'clock was register time from 8 to 9. It's 3 rounds. I went 2-1. I came in 6th of the 12th. There was only a few points really between 4th, 5th, and 6th. For my first tournament, not too bad really. First place was Tyler from Halifax, from the Halifax area. I do believe he's Raph's Reach, I do believe he's on there. He was using 1,000 Suns. Second was Laura from Trill. She came with us from Trill here. It was me, Cody, and Laura went. She's running like a speedy Chaos Space Marines list. And third was Matt, and I do believe he's from the Halifax area, and he was using the Sisters. Alright, so here is the list that I did bring to the tournament. It was 2,000 points exactly. Starting off here, we have just 4 Witch Seekers, and then a Caldus Assassin, 5 Terminators with Spears. We have Trajan Valoris with 5 Wardens, another 4 Witch Seekers, Kyria Draxus the Inquisitor with 4 Custodian Guard, 2 with Spears, 1 with Shield, and 1 with the Shield Vexil and Misericordia, 6 Venatari with Spears, and then finally 5 more Terminators with Spears. I went 2-1 in the tournament, and we're just going to do a little review here about the games. Then game 1, it was actually against Matt, and he was using the Sisters, and it was Crucible Battle, Chilling Rain, and Priority Targets. The score was 89-63 for the Sisters. And then the Sisters list, I think was probably a typical Sisters list. I'm not really sure, but as like I said, he was an experienced player, so he had 2 Exorcists, Morvenval, Saint Celestine, like 2 units of the Arco-Flagellants, the whip ladies, a couple units of regular Sisters, a big unit of Battle Sisters with the Melta or something like that. I think he had some Retributors, so quite a bit of firepower, and with the Miracle Dice he was able to capitalize on when he did get wounds through, getting some big damage, and the Meltas using them to get lethal wounds with the 6 of the Miracle Dice, because he did get pretty hot on those Miracle Dice rolls too. Great opponent, learned a lot from him. I was due a good loss, and Matt was a great opponent, respectful, helpful, we chatted the whole game. I think he was probably the most experienced player. In 10th I played yet, he's played quite a few games. He's probably played even more than I have. Sisters was an army I didn't really know. I didn't really do a lot of research about them. I didn't really know what to expect, so I gave him a little too much respect in this match. Instead of kind of putting the pressure on him, I kind of waited to see what he was going to do, and he was much better at movement than I was. And I got turn 1, which usually I don't mind, because it allows me to kind of get 2 CP for fights first before I get charged, or maybe for -1 damage or something like that, so I usually don't mind it. But it allowed him to kind of get the rapid ingress in on me first. And then I kind of allowed a couple holes in my backfield. I just really wasn't paying attention to how much he could deep strike and what he could really do with it. Because like I said, I wasn't quite sure what the Sisters could do and what their units could do. I knew about the Miracle Dice, but I wasn't really sure about what their units themselves could do. Also, Golden Knight and my Terminators in just an awful position. I set the board here just for a few things I can show you for going through these games. Now that I think about it, I think I could probably made a few changes and probably made the game a little closer. Turn 3, my Benatari failed a 6-inch charge, even with the reroll, and that was not helpful. I would have put into his back lines, and it would put a lot of pressure. And Trajan, he pretty much stayed in the middle till really turn 5. By turn 5, I think I had 1 Warden and Trajan left. He didn't die, but we lost the middle. We just didn't have enough OC left, so it was a pretty close game until about getting turn 5. Really, even turn 4, it was 43-43. But turn 5, I didn't have too much left, and he was able to get on a lot of these objectives for priority targets. So at the end of the game, if you're standing on objective in no man's land, you get 5 points. he was able to get me off in objectives and get quite ahead on turn 5. What I really should have done is just held 3 objectives. I went a bit too greedy and tried to pressure the objective close to his deployment, and I should have just focused on, the one in my deployment, one close to my deployment, and the center, instead of trying to spread myself a bit too thin, especially with, I don't have a lot of units, so spreading myself too thin was probably a mistake for that one. And his MVPs were the Exorcist by far. Like, he rolled pretty low on his hits and even on his wounds, but when he did get a wound through, he rolled hot on his meltas, like on the missiles, I think, from the Exorcist. He brought 2 Exorcists, so they would hit me for maybe 1 or 2 wounds. One would go through, 6 damage, killed Terminator, then shoot with another one and kill Terminator, or even 2 Terminators. And I can only res 1 Custodian out of every unit. Once you start killing some Terminators, I can't res them back, and really, especially those ones I used Golden Light on, he really focused them down, and really they didn't really do anything. He pulled his units away from him so I couldn't get out and charge him, and just kind of made me have to stay there and just eat Exorcist missiles all game, really. And I'm just going to kind of quickly go over just kind of how the couple plays in this game went. This is where in game 2 that he ended up putting St. Celestine, and I do really get some Zephyrin with her as well. Dropped them right close to my assassin. I had the assassin right there, and my sister's protecting this backfield, so I did rapid ingress the Terminators in. St. Celestine did kill the assassin, but he decided not to charge into those Terminators. The next round I did move the mode and killed that group, but she got back up and then kind of flew away, kind of somewhere like over here for the rest of the game. And her Gemini kept on coming back. So I pretty much sat there, did nothing for the rest of the game. Anytime I shot at her with any of the stuff, her stave kind of bounced off the Gemini. And this is where I was talking about where I left some room for Morven Ball. Since our deployment was from here, diagonal, all the way up over here. And then his turn 2, he didn't even have to rapid ingress. He dropped them right down there. And then she was able to shoot them pretty much to death. I think maybe one of them left, maybe. And then I do believe she got the charge off and killed that group. I did bring the Venatari. See the Venatari? I brought them down, I think somewhere like here. Turn 3, I charged into Morvenball, killed the lackeys, but then Morvenball was down to 2 wounds. He retreated over this corner and just kind of stayed there for the rest of the game. So those guys were gone and the Venatari were like there. So I stickied that in hopes that Morvenball wouldn't be able to get back there and take that from me. Turn 4, I stickied that with the Venatari. So I'd started there, stickied it, moved to there, moved up as far as I could, because I think I'm in farther back. But either way, I moved up to there. I went to charge. This is just kind of showing what he had here. Some sisters in his back lines. Do a couple vehicles. He had 2 Exorcists and a big old Triumph. No, it wasn't the Triumph. It was something else. Could have been that. I don't know. But it was something big. And I failed that charge of Venatari, even with the reroll. It was only a 6-inch charge. And then they got mulched up the next turn. But it would have changed the game. I don't know if I would have won, but having the Venatari, getting rid of that unit, that was with all the firepower, the Retributors and stuff. I do believe we're sitting there. I might have been able to get there and pile into the vehicles and really cause some trouble. And that's pretty much what Trajan looked like at the end. He stayed there pretty much all game. He held that for most of the game, so that's why I was able to get some points. But by the end, he was having it whittled down, and he was able to get some of his sisters in there and take that for private targets at the end. And over here, so there's our board, and there's the diagonal, his deployment. So over here is where I golden lighted my Terminators. I had started them back behind one of these walls, and then at the end of his turn 1, I used golden light, and I placed them here because he had his vehicle up somewhere like that, closer, so I placed one with 9 inches, failed to charge. And then in his turn, he just kind of moved everything back, stayed out of the way, and then just pounded them with Exorcist missiles all game, because I couldn't really move out. He had moved up far enough away, so I couldn't move 5, and even with the 12-inch charge, I couldn't reach him. So if I had moved out, I should have probably moved out and just stood on that objective, but I don't know. But either way, I really shouldn't have moved him there. I should have really golden lighted him over to support my side, because like I said, the deployment was up this way. So I should have just kind of moved my everything over here, Terminators here maybe, and just took the middle and the side. Got a little greedy, trying to put pressure on his objective. I should have stayed back here. Would have made for a lot less room and a lot less incentive for him to drop all his big units back here. Took those units, took those objectives, held on to them until I knew I had them pretty good, and pushed forward. But you live, you learn. It was, like I said, great match, and thank you, Matt, for the match. Game 2 was against the Necrons, Canoptic Court, and it was Dominions. Sadly, we were hoping against, we run into each other at the finals, but Game 2 is where we ended up at meetings. I was hoping to get someone else, same as him, but we always had fun matches, so we made do. The Necron list was Cody's list. I do believe he had last on the channel, so I had 2 Doomstalkers, 3 units of Heavy Destroyers. One of them had the anti-infantry guns, unit of 10 Lich Guard, the Transcendent Catan, the Nightbringer, a couple of units of Flayed Ones. I do believe he had those Forge World Spider things as well. Mission this one was Hammer and Anvil, Deployment, Chilling Rain, and the Ritual. The points were 88 to 44 for the Custodes. Great game. Like always, just a shame we had to pair up, but still fun. And then this game, like always against Cody, I had to be pretty wary of his firepower. I don't have any anti-tank shooting, so he can kind of line his shooting lanes up with only worry about me shooting back at him, so he can avoid right a line, right in good shooting lane places. I also had to be careful not to be caught by the Nightbringer in a place where he could just mulch up some of my units. I got pretty lucky with the secondaries this game as well. Necrons went first, which was good for me. I was hidden quite well, so I didn't have to worry about coming out to try to take objectives turn 1. I could kind of see what he was going to do and then react to that. In this game, I knew what I had to do. Kill his infantry, kill the things that he would use to hold on to points with, and just stay over the firing lanes until I was ready to push up towards him and kind of keep him from getting onto points and stopping me from scoring points. And I'll show you a few of the things that went on in this game on the board here. Alright, so I'm going to go over game here a little bit. Turn 3, I do believe I brought these Venatari down. I rapid ingressed them in his turn 3, so he went first. So in his turn 3, I brought them down here, and I charged onto this objective that he had created, because we both created the ritual objective 9 inches away from the middle, just behind these walls, because it was a hammer and anvil deployment. And yes, we both had made the rituals there. I was able to get his pretty early in turn 3, take that, and I don't believe he was able to get it back. He did fail a charge onto the Venatari from the Transcendent Catan, so that helped a lot. When he did bring his Nightbringer out here, I did, because I'm just going to use this as a proxy for the Nightbringer, but I was able to charge him with Trajan and these Terminators. So what I had done is once I created this ritual, I brought the unit of Terminators I had in Deep Strike down onto there. I had brought the unit that I didn't put in Deep Strike to start behind this wall. I brought them up onto this objective. So I had a lot of bodies on this objective. So once he had gotten sufficiently close, I had all these guys tucked in here, tucked over here, so he couldn't shoot me from here. They were probably tucked in a little more, but since this footprint was protecting me from these units, so he had to get closer to even be able to shoot me. I think it was turn 3 when I sprung the trap. I sent Trajan, I sent the Terminators out, I sent everything out, and to be aggressive as I could, I killed the Nightbringer. I had brought him down to 3 wounds with shooting, and then this charge from Trajan had killed him. So I pushed out very aggressively, and he just wasn't able to recover. He did have some pretty potent shooting on turn 4, but by then it was too late. I was able to overwhelm him and win by 88 to 44. It was a good game. I always have fun when I play with Cody, but like I said, it's just a shame that we got to pair up. But either way, fun game, and on to the game 3. And game 3 was against the Tyranids. He was using a unending swarm. The fellow's name was Sandy. Tyranids list. It had 20 gargoyles, a lot of termagants. I think he might have had 60 termagants, another 40 hormagaunts, 2 turbogons, exocrine, swarm lord, biovore, and I do believe he had some Venom ropes and 2 units of 3 Zelm ropes. Could be something missing in there, just kind of going off my memory here, but that was pretty much the list. Once again, great opponent, great fellow. It was probably one of the most fun games of 10th I've had. He had a lot of models, but he knew the army very well, so he was able to play it fast, knew all the stats. It was a great game. I think we even ended the game with 20 minutes left, and we went right through the whole game to turn 5. So the deployment on this one was Dawn of War, so Longwise, Chilling Rain, and Scorched Earth. So you could burn an objective in no man's land, or burn the opponent's deployment objective. And the score for this one was 88-60 for the Custodes, for another Custodes win. Beautifully painted army. I got the do believe metallic blue and purple. It was a really fun army. Super fun game. I got turn 1, so pretty much I just scouted towards, just try to put a little bit of pressure on him as much as I could. I don't think I killed anything. I don't think I was even able to shoot much of anything turn 1. He pushed his gargoyles down in. Shot my sister, brought my sisters down to 1. Put a wound or 2 onto the Terminators I had brought up on that left flank with the sisters. I kind of had an idea halfway through that turn of what I could do with that Witch Seeker to survive. So my turn 2 to believe it was, I actually hit the gargoyles with the Witch Seeker's flame attack, and then it triggered a battle shock, and since he wasn't close enough to get Synapse, he actually failed battle shock, and then I used the Terminators to kill the gargoyles, and he wasn't able to use the unending swarm stratagem to bring the gargoyles back. So having the 20 gargoyles gone, since I do believe he only had 20 gargoyles, taking those out was huge, because those things are such a pain with the move, shoot, move, all that stuff. So having them gone and not worrying about coming back anymore really made it so I could kind of control where he could go. The Terminators were the MVP of this match by far. I had 2 units of 5. They have their spear shots that shoot twice, AP1 damage 2, so that isn't too much. But they also have grenade shots. Each one has a D6 grenade with blast. So you're shooting a group of 20 with 5 guys. That's just 20 shots just from the blast. I was able to pick up multiple units a turn, which was kind of the crux to this list. If you can take out more than 1 unit to stop them from just kind of bringing back any unit you kill. So I was able to kill either a unit just with one of the units activating of the Terminators, or if I had to, I could put both of them into. But then I would charge it if I didn't kill it, or I would even charge another unit, because it was Dawn of War and he had so many units, everything was kind of packed in. So I was able to shoot things and then charge other units. Every turn I was taking 1 or 2 units. He would be able to bring one back, but I was killing 2 to 3 a turn, so he just wasn't able to bring them back fast enough. And then on the right flank, a group of those Terminators on each flank. So I had 1 on the left and 1 on the right. So on the right side, he charged me with a Turbogon and the Swarm Lord. I pop fight first and killed the Swarm Lord. And I think I did a wound or 2 to the Turbogon. So that really took away his ability to get extra CP, so he could always bring back units or turn off my blast. He never really had enough CP to turn off the blast of the Terminator units and res a unit at the same time. I was able to kind of keep him on the back foot. I took out the left side and just kind of corralled him into the middle and then pushed him into his home field objective. He didn't really have enough firepower. He had the Exocrine, but that wasn't enough firepower to stop me from pushing. Like, he could kill a Custodian or 2 a turn with it, but I was able to catch that and kill it. Plus he had 3 of his big monsters explode in his back line, so that didn't help him at all. It was, like I said, great game. You know, he never got sour having any of his stuff getting destroyed or anything. That was just always laugh and always great. Hope to play him again. The fact that I don't think I lost a unit, he had 60 points, it was still very impressive. Like, this list is still very good at scoring points. He had a Biovore, and with my Custodes not having a big board presence, he was able to score quite a bit of points on secondary. I just had to keep him from getting primary. So I was able to keep on pressuring him off the primary. I should have destroyed the mines a little earlier. I don't think I really went to try to destroy them until turn 4, even turn 5. But by then I had killed most of it. Losing a lot of everything he had, he scored a lot of points. Like, if I had to be careful, if I had let up or made a few wrong moves, he could have easily beaten me. And this game I was able to control pretty good. The Witch Seekers came incredibly handy. Over here is where I was talking about. I did flame with this Witch Seeker and then started killing gargoyles and termagants on the side. I was able to get this burnt, so Sandy just pretty much abandoned this side and just started pressuring this side of the board more because it was Dawn of War, long wise. And what I would do is I would keep a girl on this objective, move them over here like this on the turn, shoot something with the flamers, try to battle shock it. If it's so, awesome. If not, I would shoot with Trajan and then charge it and kill it. So he would just move up here, kill this unit of gods, and then just eventually start moving up slowly and slowly. So even if he did bring stuff from reserve, he couldn't really bring it behind me because he had to try to stop me from getting to his objective. So he was always just kind of bringing it up here to try to stop these units. And this is where I said I had my other Terminators and Draxus. I had the Assassin pretty much just sitting there all game. He was able to get into my corners. Boop. Boop, and drop in stuff because I do believe he took Engage and deploy Teleport Homers for his fixed secondaries. Yeah, so then he charged, we'll say this is the Swarm Lord and the Turbogon, but so he charged this Terminator group. I fought first, killed the Swarm Lord, and then the next turn I was able to push up the Terminators and start killing these big monsters. And I do believe turn 3 or 4, I dropped, I think it was 3, I dropped the Venatori into his back corner. So back here like this, he had his Biobor there, a bunch of gaunts. I do believe he had a couple zone thropes in there too, but the zone thropes really didn't do him well this game. So eventually I was able to kind of smush everything into his home field objective. I wasn't able to burn it, because by the time I was able to kind of clear off that home field objective, it was turn 5. But it was a really fun game, something different with all these models I had to fight against. I wasn't sure how the Custodes would do. If I didn't have the Terminators, I would have had a really hard time. The Terminators and their blast grenades really made a difference in having 2 units, because if I had 1, he could have used the CP to try to stop the blast by mitigating a lot of my damage, but having 2 units, it just made it really hard for him to stop me from picking up multiple units a turn. So that was pretty much the overview for that, and really the overview for the tournament. I went 2-1, like I said, 2-1. Great fun, and thanks for Vortex for setting it up, and thank you for all my opponents, and I'm hoping to get some more competitive games in here. So we're going to have some battle reports coming up this week. I do believe I just put up a Royal Legions versus Necrons a few days ago, and you better believe I'll be putting some videos out about the data slate, especially with the Custodes, possibly a couple of the other armors I have, but for sure the Custodes. Thanks for watching, and thanks for stopping by.